construction job and was, just existing on the street because I figured out the city needed my help more than anybody else did. It didn't matter if I had money or not. I started sweeping Decatur Street. I said, this is the most beautiful street in the world, yet here it is all effed up and dirty, and nobody's cleaning it because the city wasn't there. And before that, I'd filled in potholes. I went and got bricks and filled in potholes. But I'm sorry. Don't let me keep my train of thought. But the point is, I started at one end of Decatur Street and worked myself to the other, sweeping the street. And that was the second time that David ran into me, because while I was sweeping Decatur Street, here come this big protest march, because at the same time the Rainbow Camp in Washington Park was being shut down by the city.
Yeah.
And these people
now,
were
wait,
all...
now, stop for just a second.
Okay.
Explain what a Rainbow Camp is.
The Rainbow, they came with their kitchens. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Rainbow family, but they have gatherings in national parks. And they have one great big gathering every year that's a big blowout, and the government just hates those motherfuckers. I just hates those people. But I guess the main thing to say about that is that the Rainbow knows how to do it in the rough.
Okay.
They don't need electricity. They don't need refrigeration. They don't need any of that kind of stuff to do it in the rough. They can whoop you out a meal, and they were feeding 3,000 people a day in Washington Park.
Whoa.
And that was just when I was there. Maybe in the beginning it was more. Actually, if you really want to know the true Rainbow story, look at what they did in Waveland. And this is just it's not organized. It's just people who come together and do it because they hear the higher calling.
Okay. So the Rainbow was coming down Decatur Street. And now we know who the Rainbow is.
The protest march was coming down Decatur Street while I was sweeping. I had no idea there was a protest march that day. I was just sweeping the damn street because
right.
I was going to clean that. If nobody else was going to bother to clean it up, well, Charlie was going to clean it up. I'd be darned if I leave that street ugly. And that was the second time David met me, because he was, here he comes. We're marching with that camera, Miss Pearl, right beside him, and then he's turning around, walking backwards, pointing at the camera at me as I'm just, ranting and raving as I'm sweeping the street. But that was the thing, is that I didn't understand what I was doing at the time. But once I got to Camp Katrina, Miss Pearl told me what I was doing. She said, "You're a cleanser. You go around, and when you clean it up, if you do the dishes and rake the yard, what you're doing is you're chasing the evil away. It's not something that you do with any sort of knowledge or any sort, but you do it because it's done through you." Getting back to the antenna, not the source thing.
Yeah. So she became kind of like your second mom, helping you discover what it is was going on.
I'll tell you about Pearl. Pearl runs an orphanage. And that was one of the things I realized with Joanie is, when we got there, and I couldn't stay there long. Okay, I did not stay in Camp Katrina very long because Pearl does run an orphanage, and boy, she'll let anybody in there. I finally had to run off and go live in Washington Park.
Okay.
But, she has such an open heart that sometimes people walk all over it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But me and Pearl, we work together, and it's not, and I say me, I don't mean me. She knew Joanie before I did.
She knew you were coming.
She knew I was coming. Exactly.
Now, I'm going to break right here. I'm going to stop you, and I'm going to move to something. They're going on and on in the chat room about the left-handed thing. I mean, clearly we've got a lot of left-handers. Somebody made a reference to the fact that they say that Christians say that left-handers do the devil's work because there's a reference in the Bible to sitting at God's right hand.
Right, but don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. Stick that one in your pipes and smoke it.
Would you say, and I'm going to segue just a second and say, would you say that Joan sits at God's left hand?
Now, you see, you're going to get me twisted out there in a place that, that I don't want to go.
Okay, we'll drop that. Miss Pearl knew she was your second mom. I'm going to leave it up to you. Twist out if you want to.
Pearl's not my mom. Okay? She never was a mother figure. But me and her could work together. And, you just have to meet this amazing woman who can, she can mow through something just, with the strength of 10 archangels. Pearl is a very amazing person. Katrina has almost destroyed her, but still her resolve was there. Her, her ambition to get the job done, and the job that she probably has always done. I really don't know, because like I said, I didn't meet her till after the storm. But where you were going with, what side of God's hand does Joanie sit on?
Yeah.
You have to remember something. When Joanie was here on this earth, when she was in a physical body back then, and what she did, her presence was prophesied. They said a virgin will rise up and defeat the English and crown us a king. This was prophesied over a couple of generations. And then it happened. And when it happened, they called her the daughter of God. So, if you want to call Jesus the Son of God, well, one of the little secrets of history, or it's really not a secret, you just have to look for it, is that she's the daughter of God.
So she is Jesus' sister, spiritually.
Yeah. They all sit around in the same room. Jesus and Lucifer and Joanie and God, and then, damn it, if I don't have to sit there as a son-in-law. I would prefer not to talk about that, but I mean, you just have to, you have to know where the places that my mind went, and as far as being shown day to day, like I said, spoon-fed.
But this was not, how deep this was getting was not being exposed to you post Katrina, Camp Katrina. You're just starting to just do the work, let it come through you, let it come in you, doing what you're told, and finding all these synchronicities.
You just hit the nail on the head. Is that I did what I was